I was listening to the story about, it was a story of a family in Washington, and the little boy called the Bigfoot the Cowboy Man. And he had, apparently it had made an effort to steal this kid. And it hit me. My children were in that playpen behind me with nothing but a mosquito net over them. It could have crept up behind me and taken both of my children, and I wouldn't have known.
Father just got like a Mustang or something from Wyoming, okay? He had it out in the corral because he couldn't put it in the barn in the stalls with the other horses. It would kick and made all the other horses nervous. Had a Seminole Indian working the horse, trying to break it every day. So they had it out in the corral. This skunk ape snuck up behind this horse and grabbed it on its hind quarters. This particular horse kicks out, jumps over the corral, runs into the pasture, to get away. At this point, the rancher's out there just blasted away with the dirty. Skunk ape runs into the swamp.
I went up there one day after that, or 2 days after that. I went up there and sat in the silence up there, and I'm telling you, man, it was free. It was crazy. There was a crazy vibe up there still. I did what I could to kind of get things under control, but I told her, I said, you need to get off this property. I feel like no matter how strong you are, it's almost like standing in the ocean. You can't stand still without moving your feet. You're going to get knocked over eventually, no matter how strong, whatever. You can't withstand a barrage of weird spiritual energy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Paranormal Odyssey Live. I am your host, Wayne, as always, joined by my great friend, co-host, producer, grandmother, mother, wife. Already said friend, but I'll say it again, Miss Tiffany. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing good. Accidentally, I think I just, punched the underside of my table as soon as I unmuted my mic. So sorry about that one.
I don't believe that because of how professional you are.
I know. See, it's a good thing I was live because I would have said some words. But hey, I'm good. I'm good.
Good
I'm
deal.
glad to be here as always.
Got a good show lined up for tonight. I'm excited about it. Saturday night, hour after hours show. Y'all know anything goes. Liable to have anything happen. Tonight I am sipping on the Traveler. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, but that is Chris Stapleton is whiskey. Those of you that are familiar with the show know that if you see one of these in the comments, that means I just took a sip. And if I take a sip, y'all have to take a sip. It's just a little game that we play.
And tonight I am sipping on the strawberry liquid refresher from Kroger. I am not endorsed. I am just sharing.
Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. You had anything exciting happen lately, or are you just ready to pay some bills?
I've been cooking a lot of food, and it all started after Zach said he wanted to go on a diet. I mean, I got this inner, I can't remember her name, but anyways, but like she overtook me and I just started cooking things. And now I fixed this really good dinner, and we were so full from lunch and that milkshake. I was so nauseous while I was cooking it. So I fixed dinner and 2 pies, and it's in the refrigerator.
Yeah, I know. You sent me a picture of it. It looked good as hell.
I bet it's going to taste so great.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, you're in Virginia. I'm in Tennessee, or I'd run up there and get some of it.
I know. I would share. There's a lot. It's a whole big aluminum pan of it. I don't know. It's 5 of us, okay? But our 2 older children moved out, and I never learned how to cook small. So I always overcook.
Yeah. I do too. I've been having, I got My daughter Scarlett will be 3 next month. My granddaughter Cece is 3, just turned 3 in February, and I've been watching her a little bit with my daughter. And I cooked them breakfast the other morning, cheese, eggs, and sausage, and there was so much left over. I don't know how to cook normal
I
for
don't
normal
know.
people. I cook for an
Yeah.
army. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Because it's just 3 of us now. And me and Carrie really don't. I mean, we pick. We're grazers. We're not meal eaters. I don't know how to cook for 3 people.
I see a lot of
So
new names in
I know
the
I've been
chat,
looking.
and I appreciate that. One in particular I want to say hello to is my new buddy Jonathan Pulley. Jonathan, he messaged me on Facebook. I'd never talked to him before, but we are now friends. We've been talking a little bit. There's something about cops, man. He is a state trooper from here in Tennessee. And I was telling him, Brian, the guy that started all of this, he was a cop in Atlanta. My good buddy Kevin was a cop out of North Carolina. And then we got Alex, that's a cop up in DC, and now Jonathan, I've been talking
And
to.
Blue Crossroads is a cop too.
Blue Crossroads is a cop. Yeah, I knew I was forgetting somebody.
Yep.
But but Jonathan reached out and told me that he appreciated the missing persons stuff that we've been doing, and that all started because of you and I looking into some missing people, and then I started the Missing in the Smokies series, and I just did the Yuba County 5, and he reached out and told me he appreciated all that, and he actually referred me to a podcast where this retired ranger from up in the Smokies was actually he's a tracker. He was a part of the Trinity Gibson. Like he helped with the Trinity Gibson and I think a couple of the other cases that I've talked about. And I've been listening to that. And he also talked about some feral people in the Smokies, which is fascinating as hell. Y'all know how I feel about the feral people stuff. So I haven't finished the episode just yet, but it's fascinating as hell. I'll be sharing it. The guy's name is Dwight something, but I'll be talking about that more because I would love to get him on to talk sometime. But yeah, that's all from Jonathan Pulley. I wouldn't have known anything about that unless he reached out. So guys, if y'all know of anything like that, get a hold of me or Tiffany and let us know so that we can look into it, and we'll be happy to give you a shout out just like we're doing with Jonathan tonight. So Jonathan's in the chat hanging out. Dwight McCarter, he said. So yeah, again, buddy, thank you. And for all of our cops, our police officers out there, thank you very much for your service. Thank you for everything that you do for us. You have a very dangerous job, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much for putting your lives on the line to protect us.
Yes.
All right. All of that out of the way. Real quick, let's talk about our poll question before we get going too far. Are pareidolia images doing harm to the field of Sasquatch research? Y'all know how passionate I am about this subject, and apparently you are too. 79% of you say yes. That leaves 21% of you that say no. Y'all know how I feel. I feel like it is. If you have to put a circle around an image, don't share it. That's just my beliefs.
Yeah, because we don't see, not saying that we won't, but we don't always see what you see. And when we had Emma Steverson's on, she explained that not everybody's eye sees what you see. And then it just makes everything seem hokey.
Right. If you have to explain where something is in the image, it's not going to do any good. It's just not. I mean, you're not going to advance. You're not going to advance the ball down the field. I mean, I don't know. I'm all for getting video and picture evidence of these creatures. Obviously, y'all know that. But if it's pareidolia, if it's possibly pareidolia, I'm not saying that everything that we see like that is, because there could very well be something in that picture. There very well could be, but it's not going to change anybody's mind. It's just not. So if you have to draw a circle around it or explain where something is in a picture, just don't post it. That's how I feel.
Agreed.
Let's pay some bills. Want to?
Let's do it, buddy.
Alrighty. As we mentioned earlier, seeing all kind of new names in the chat tonight. Thank you guys so very much for hanging out with us. We hope that you have a good time and that you will continue to hang out. But please, if you are new, hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to us. Help us to continue to grow the show. Please hit that subscribe button.
And if you would like to be on with Wayne and myself, if you would reach out, Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com or Tiffany at Paranormal World Productions. We have June 25th is our only day open. So we are getting ready to start booking for July. So if you want to get in, get in.
Yeah, y'all know we've never had any problem getting guests for this show. So yeah, we would love to talk to you if you have had an experience. Want to ask everybody to head over to paranormalworldproductions.com, check out our website, check out all the other shows under the studio's umbrella. Sasquatch Odyssey, this one, Paranormal Odyssey, that Bigfoot podcast, which I am a co-host of, the Basement Hangout, Kentucky X-Files, just all that good stuff, guys. Pick you up some merch. We would greatly appreciate any support you could give us.
If you have any questions for tonight's guest, which I'm pretty sure you will, if you would just put them in all capital letters, we grab them during the show and we highlight them, and then we do a rapid fire question answer at the end of the show. But if you put them in all capital letters, we will absolutely see them.
All right, guys, one more thing before we get to our guests. We are still doing our giveaway. If you would like to become a member of Paranormal Odyssey and partake in some of the perks that you get, we do members only shows. We have a members only Discord where we hang out and chat, and it's just a really good time. It's a family. It's just a little tight knit community of Paranormal Odyssey watchers, and we have a great time. We hang out, cut up, joke. It's really cool. We would love to have you. And as a perk, we are offering to our first 50 members, which we've only got about 10 spots left. If you're new to the show, if you're a new member, we are taking the first 50 people, putting them in a pot, and we will draw a name, and that person will win a Yeti lunchbox, an autographed copy of The Unfamiliars, which was written by Tiffany, an autographed copy of one of Naoma Finn's books, and a Paranormal Odyssey t-shirt. Again, that is only for the first 50 people to become a member of Paranormal Odyssey. We would love to have you guys. Again, guys, it's just $1.99 a month. It's 199 pennies. It's not hurting anybody. It's not killing anybody. You get all kind of perks. You have a chance to win this cool stuff. We would love to have you come and hang out and become a part of the Paranormal Odyssey family.
And our podcast is Zorth approved.
Oh my God. Thank you, Ristel.
Thank you, Ristel. I'm glad Zorth
did it. Yeah, the super chats are open as well. That's another way that you guys can help us. You guys have been coming through for us. Can't say enough cool things about our little family. You know, that's all it is. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for everything that you do. The little donations like that, they just help us to keep going, because everything we do pretty much comes out of our pockets, and anything you guys can do to help is greatly appreciated.
Yes.
You got anything else? Oh my God, there's 43 comments. While I've been
Yeah,
talking, there's been 43 comments. Y'all are hopping tonight.
I know. I've been trying to keep up.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I'm glad Naomi's in there to do that cool little moderating.
I haven't seen Naomi yet. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you showing up for us.
She is in there for sure. She
We're
always comes.
15 minutes in. So who we got tonight, Tiffany?
Roger Williams. He's such a sweet soul, and everybody in the chat would agree with me that he is. I mean, I'm not just fluffing his tail feathers because it's just who he is. We had him on, and I was going to try to remember the date and the episode, but I'm unprofessional, so I didn't do that. But his part 1, we really, really dug into his Bigfoot experiences and stuff like that. And at the end, that's when we had just started to kind of scratch the surface of paranormal experiences and his orbs and all of that. So we wanted to bring him back for part 2 for that. So if you want to see the part 1, it is on our YouTube channel.
All right. Perfect. Very well said. All of that being said, Roger is backstage and ready to go. So let's bring him out. Roger, what's up, buddy?
Howdy. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear, buddy.
As long as my mic's red. I wasn't paying attention earlier. But yeah, thank y'all for having me on. I had a great time last time. And I've watched, Bobby Dizzle here. And I think I saw Tiffany for the first time on that show. So, yeah, I kind of felt like y'all were my people. But I didn't know now. I'm upset. I didn't know we could have a drink. I've got several Buffalo Trace products back here that I don't have access to right now, but I might get my bartender to bring me one.
That's right.
And I have had the Travelers. It's a smooth sipper. I like it.
Oh man, it is so good. It's kind of an inside joke. Brian from Sasquatch Odyssey talked about whenever he does a live, he pours 2 fingers of whiskey, and it kind of loosens him up a little bit. So that's what I started doing. So whenever our audience, a couple of the guys in the audience see me take a sip, they will do the 2 fingers thing along with the whiskey emoji, and they will take a sip. So in honor of that.
Yeah. There you go.
Very cool. Yeah, and the Traveler made by Buffalo Trace, it's really, really good. It's become probably my favorite whiskey.
I don't think I've had anything bad by Buffalo Trace. And it just, some of it gets pricey because it's hard to find. But that's another one of my things. I got into it a few years back and love doing that. Tasting, sampling, and I don't drink a lot. I just like to sip every now and then. So you're right. It will loosen you up. And I talk too much as it is. Y'all don't want me on caffeine or whiskey. Wide open. But hey, everybody, thank y'all for coming in. I see y'all. There's a lot of great people in here. I think let's see, Bobby and Christy. Christy had some great cookies at the meet and greet. Neoma told some amazing stories. She's a storyteller, like unbelievable.
Yeah.
And everybody else, I see y'all. I'm not chatting here, but thank y'all for stopping by.
Yeah, you have lots of fans in here.
She is one of our favorites. She did the storytelling at my event, the Squatch Out, a couple years ago, and she will be back this year. She and I are also doing an event in Ohio this year. So Naomi is a great friend of mine. I love her. She's awesome. As you alluded to, Roger, the little get together up at the LBL, I heard that was an awesome time, and I heard you had some interesting stuff happen. Do you want to talk about your time at the LBL?
Yeah, so it was Woodwalkers started it. We're good friends, really good friends, and then Beast TV, Mark and Becca with Cedar Cedar Bottoms Farm. I always get their name mixed up, and then they included me. So we talked about it on the shows, and we had people came in from all the way from Coos Bay, Oregon, Utah. We counted up best we could figure 25 or better states were representative, all the Southeast, and there were about a dozen shows. There were about 11 until Bobby Dizzle showed up on Saturday, and then he kind of completed the dozen there. And some great people that you see in chat. Cedar Creek Bottoms Farmstead. Thank you, Christy. Thank y'all. Good people. And the thing about it was we got to meet people face to face, and Spencer with Woodwalker said it the best the first night. We didn't do this so y'all could come and meet us. We did it so we could meet y'all, and it was just amazing. And Greg and Chad, he cooked, and everybody had to go home and cook food that next Monday because we brought so much. And he had a 10-gallon cauldron over there, stirring like a witch, and made some awesome food. But yeah, I couldn't ask for a better time. I had I didn't know who he was, but Cam Buckner was to my left, and Billy Schilling was to my right, and nobody really talked podcast. It was just a awesome get together. But
wow,
we made a lot of friends. There was, I don't know, best we could count 120 something people, but there was people coming in, we couldn't count them all. Patrick, but the story time was fun. We had so many people, so many experienced people. Kumbo Baker, great guy. And we had Greg, and I'll forget somebody. That's why I don't want to. Cam got up and told a couple stories. I told a couple stories. I was nervous because here I can see the people in chat, but I'm not looking at people around a campfire. It's a lot different. But it was fun. I mean, I'm sure next year will be a lot bigger, and we all miss it. We came back and said, there's such a good group of people. It was, I can't talk positive about it enough. Usually I'm not speechless, but it was amazing. But on the other hand of that, hold on a second. Excuse me. I need some whiskey. Martin Groves, Martin Nunley, Kane Michael, Eric Tipton, just a lot of in some shows I never had watched, but I'll get a chance to now. But there was people, even though we didn't talk Bigfoot much, we told stories late at night. We were camping in the LBL, and we had a backup cabin about 20 miles south, and it got cold. And I saw some references to that earlier. I learned how to use my buddy heater the next night very quickly because it was still in the box when I got there, and I didn't do a very good job. But yeah, so on the way home on Friday night, it was about 11:30. It was getting cold again, and the first night we left about 1:30 or so, and we didn't see any wildlife hardly on the way back. But this night was different. There was 75 to 100 deer, in 2 and 3, 4, 5 groups all throughout the 20 miles. But when I took a right out of Colston, it's a picnic area. It's Colston picnic area. And then the next road to the left, when we were coming around the curve, our headlights hit. It was a white dog, and it was a very large white dog. People have asked me how big you think it was. My son has a really big German Shepherd. And I asked him, I said, how big is Mac? And he said, he's about 90, 95 pounds. I'm like, oh, okay. So this thing, I'm going to conservatively say 150. Now, it could have been 200. Very well could have, because it was a big wolf. It was a white wolf. As far as I know, it was canine. But when the headlights hit this thing, it was after something. I know if you've ever seen a coyote or something that's after prey, they're focused in, they're locked in, and when our lights hit it, we surprised it. And hold on, sorry. So when the lights hit it, y'all seen a squirrel, like you run around a curve or on a hill, and it'll do that shimmy like it don't know which way to go. This thing did the same thing. but when it turned towards us, it had the eyes just went just fire red, and I never had seen anything like that reflected like that. Now, thought maybe later talking about it going down the road, I'm like, well, we do have this newer truck to us. The headlights are a little more bright than we're used to, but we realized the deer were reflecting the same, right? So we had to rule that out. Another thing with this, when it shimmied, of course it blurred a little bit, and it was just an amazing sight because, I've been out in Wyoming, South Dakota, all out in there, and that's you go out that way trying to see something like that, the wolves or whatever, and I never expected to see one, a couple hours from my house. Now, it definitely was canine, it definitely was white, and it definitely had red eye shine, big red eye shine. But when it turned to run back the way it came, instead of dipping and pushing off like normal, the huge paws come off the ground, and it turned and it pivoted in the waist area, and it almost was facing back away from itself, and the rear end followed kind of like a trailer, which I don't ever remember seeing a dog do that, but didn't see a tail. And you're kind of self-conscious about saying something like that. Oh, you're at a Bigfoot meet and greet, but we were on the road at midnight in LBL. So, and the second thing, when I whipped in the dirt road, I saw the angle that it was running. I'm like, well, it's about to cross that road. So I whipped the truck in there, and I'm looking to my right in the woods line, expecting something to come running out. And my wife, she don't cuss, she don't say any bad words. She wants to sometimes to me, but she said, "Oh heavens!" And I'm like, "What is it?" Because she didn't point in any direction or whatever. And she said she said, "I just saw a vapor cross the road." And I'm like, so when that came out, I put it in reverse. We'll talk about this down the road, because when you start talking about vapors and then questioning her later, it was about the size of a big dog, and it ran at an angle. She couldn't see a dog, but it was weird looking to her. And she said she couldn't see through it. So it was a dark vapor. And I don't know, y'all. I mean, it shook me up. Of course, I talked to Barton Nunley, talked to some other people that frequent the LBL, and there have been things like that reported before. And he thought it was odd that it raised up somewhat. It didn't stand up and run off on two legs. It just turned different than I would expect. A deer, if you spook a deer, it drops and then it either cuts right or left. And, as far as I know, I always thought other animals did. I've seen mountain lions do that, where they'll whip that tail around and they'll stay low to get their traction. And, I just never seen anything come off the ground like that. So I can't say what it was. Definitely was a white wolf with red eye shine, and it was a big one. So this gets us shook up. And
I mean, there's not any wolves around here, right?
Well, in the LBL there are.
Yeah, my good buddy Troy, who's in here in the chat tonight, he and I camped at the LBL a couple of months ago, and we call it Rain Fest or rain something, because it rained all damn weekend. It was just miserable. Mud Fest is what we call it. But there's some creepy shit that goes on in the LBL.
And Ristel, red wolves in the LBL, I agree with you. I read that because I was Googling when I got back to Wi-Fi at the cabin. This one wasn't a red wolf. We have a few of those here, and I saw 3 one day, and I saw over in Chattanooga at the game preserve or whatever, I saw a few there. This wasn't what I saw, and I can't tell you what it was, but it was bigger. The red wolves would get big, but this thing was so big that I noticed when the paws came off the ground, And I found wolf tracks in November with those Bigfoot tracks. I found there was some wolf tracks there, but I didn't get it on film. And you can hear me say, "Are there wolves here?" Because it was a very big wolf track. So listen, I didn't do enough research. I'll never make this mistake again. I had apples sitting out on the table. I had food sitting out. And as far as I know, all of us did. And I didn't know till I started Googling animals in the LBL that there were bear there. And here I've set a smorgasbord out for them, to come and eat, and had no clue. But yeah, and we had something come up behind the tent the first night. It was walking on two legs. The people at the fire where Neoma told the story at, if she remembers, my tent was a blue tent. Well, I tell you, where your vehicle was parked was right beside our tent, and then Cam's was on the other side. Ours was the blue tent with the white awning. I think you'd have gone to bed. You're in your car. And we heard something walking up, came right up behind our tent. Well, I heard people at the fire. They started pulling out thermals and stuff, all kind of equipment, because they heard it snapping and walking. When it got back next to the tent, it was breathing heavy, just a congested, I can't do it. But it walked, Neoma, she don't know this. It walked in front of your vehicle, and it got to back to your vehicle, and where Cam's truck was, it walked back towards the dry creek bed, and it continued on, and we could hear it. And everybody's pulling out equipment trying to see what it is. I come out of the tent like a groundhog and run over there. And Heather's like, no, it wasn't. Now, there might have been times there it was, but that heavy breathing and coming from where it did and then going back, it went back into the woods in front of your vehicle at probably, if you're at 12 o'clock, probably, let's say 7, went back to the right back there. So, yeah. I haven't talked to her since then. I have told this story, but the thing was, when I heard it and it got that close, I felt like I could slap the tent and it was right there. And whatever it was, I don't know what it was. It was just sounded like and it wasn't heavy like a big, a Bigfoot or a big bear or anything like that. It was light, but it was breaking. It didn't care. It was breaking sticks when it stepped on them. So immediately I went out to say, "Hey, did y'all catch anything?" What? And we couldn't see it. I said, "Well, the reason was it was right there behind my tent, and in her car, and then the big truck, and then went on." So anyway, but there were orbs. Yeah, Greg, they heard stuff behind them. They were in the backside. Barton Nunley told me that he had filmed an orb. He didn't know which tent was mine. It was about 9:30 one night. And I was telling him this story, and he said, "What color was your tent?" I said, "Blue." He said, "With a white awning out front." I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Oh yeah, I was leaning on your truck filming orbs right behind y'all." And I'm like, "Oh my God." But it was eventful. There was a lot of people that had some things going on, some calling and some answers back. And I've heard maybe there's a film crew there, and certain people went out and got some really good audio, but I don't know about that. I wasn't involved in it. So, Flat Rock, hey, y'all, Greg, thank y'all for coming in. But, so, Christy, it was right behind your vehicle.
Real quick, Roger, can you speak at all to the rumors that someone went missing while y'all were out there?
They did. I didn't know about it until we got back. There was a group of campers that I heard somebody went missing. Now, we were coming back. Every morning we would come back from the cabin. We would head north, and we saw a lot of people with walking sticks and backpacks, and they were talking and planning. And I thought they were just out there having a good time. That might have been the search party, but I didn't know it until we got back home, like on Monday or Tuesday. I was talking to some of the woodwalkers, and they were like, "Hey, did y'all know somebody went missing?" And I think they found them. They found them safe, I believe. But I was in the truck. I was in the tent with people all around me, and I never got comfortable because the place is beautiful, but with the cemetery on top of the hill, we went up there. Bobby Dizzle and my wife and son, he showed up on Saturday with his girlfriend, and Bob's daughter was there, and we all walked up to the top. And I know people that had gone up there at night, but it's a creepy place. And the thing is, you're not going to get anywhere fast. If something happens and you have to get out, when I say we left Coast and Holler, it took us 15 minutes to get out to the main road. And now it may be different, but 2 weeks ago or whenever it was, there wasn't any leaves on the trees. So driving at night with those curves and that gray road and the gray trees, I had to slow down to about 30 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour. It was dangerous. Now with the green, you'd probably be okay, but it's just a creepy place. And I would do it again with the same people. I felt comfortable, with them. I would not go out there by myself. I would not go out there with another group or 2 or 3 campers. I don't think I'd do it. But I don't know how safe we were anyway. But whatever that was, it was big enough that the breathing sounded like it was coming. I was laying down on that big thing, so I'd say 3 foot off the ground, 3.5 foot off the ground, where the breathing was actually, it was almost level with me. But we had a 22-inch air mattress, and then me, so it was like face to face almost with me. And saying I got spooked is not even a good description. I thought this is it. All right, I'm the first one to go. So, but anyway, it was awesome trip. Oh, right up with Kumbo. No, Kumbo can get out there in 5 minutes. I had to run off in the ditch to get away from him. But anyway, yeah, I mean, we had people that went out and had experiences.
It sounds like an awesome time, man.
But now remember this, that Friday night, all those deer were out. So if the deer are out, the predators are going to be out. And the eclipse was 3 days later. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but the other nights that we went south, there were hardly any deer at all. That one night, they were everywhere. So that's going to pull anything that's hungry that they, would eat deer. So, but yeah, I'm going to show off David Blaylock. I don't know if he's here or not. He made this in Oregon and brought it to me. That's obsidian. He napped that and made that for me. And man, you talking about excited. It's just like a big family, and I can't wait to do it again. And y'all need to come next time.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I didn't know anything about it, or I would have tried to.
Well, it was kept quiet for a while, and then it hit the airwaves, and it was a good crowd. We couldn't ask for any better. There was enough people there. Everybody helped and pitched in, and it was I made a joke. I did a live. They had such a big pile of firewood that it was flat. It come from a sawmill. It looked like had the logs, long 8, 10, 12 feet logs, and then they had the planks that that weren't good for using. And I made a joke that I think, well, the woodwalkers have stolen a barn. If y'all missing a barn somewhere in North Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, I think I found it. But we had plenty of wood, and the stories, were incredible. I got to tell 2 stories that I knew most people would be talking about Bigfoot, so I want to do a little different. I'd had an incident happen one time where a guy he quit learning at 4. His name is Emmett. He's still alive. He's a good guy, and just quickly he had about 30 phrases that he would repeat over and over and over, and he had different words. It took me 25 years to figure out what the Eddie Petty was. Somebody'd say, Emmett, do the Eddie Petty, and he'd start, doing the twist or whatever. Well, it was Elvis Presley. So I was shocked to find that out. But one day at our store, me and a farmer, Wow. Mr. Tiffany done come through. Heck yeah. So
Yeah.
he jumped out. He was leaning back. He drank coffee and he was leaning back on the cooler, the ice cream cooler, and it looked like he got shocked. He came up and his eyes were big, and he started saying, "It's going to come a blizzard. Going to come a blizzard. Me gotta go. Me gotta go." And I'm like, "What? I've never heard Emmett say this before." And so the farmer knew him well, and we knew that if he got scared, he would run, and we didn't want him to run out into traffic. And so, long story short, he's saying it's going to come a blizzard. We're telling him to calm down. And in 2 minutes, we can't see the gas pump. It's a clear day. It's 40 something degrees, no snow in the forecast, no rain, nothing. And it's dry, powdery, fine snow, which probably is a downdraft of some sort. I found out later. That's not the thing. It happened, and it happened twice. We couldn't see the gas pumps. We couldn't see the front. I didn't know what was going on. It was a complete whiteout. And it stopped, and Travis and I were looking at each other like, what in the world just happened? It happened again, and for a little longer, and it piled up next to the fence, and it went away quickly. Well, we're looking at each other like, and you can't question him because he can't tell you. Like, how did you know that? And he wouldn't say. So, I told that story because I thought about it, and I'm like, I've never told that to anybody hardly. And it needs to be out there because there are strange things. We talk about ghosts. We talk about all this stuff. There are strange things that happen every day. Normal people, regular people. And that's one that blows my mind. How he knew. I never heard him say the word blizzard before. I didn't know he knew what it was. We don't have blizzards in Tennessee. But there it happened. And I was so glad that Travis witnessed it. And we talked about it some. Like, we tried to explain it to people, and they just didn't get it. But there's a lot of weird stuff out there.
Yeah, I mean, to say the least. I mean, the place it just gives you the creeps. There are so many fucking cemeteries. Why? Why are there so many cemeteries in this place? I don't get it.
Well, I watched a new documentary, and they were explaining that there's a lot of people live there, and until the group come in and just pushed them off their land, so those families that have those family cemeteries still have the right to bury their kinfolk. So they're still working cemeteries, and me and Bob Dahl, we saw some 5-year-old graves, maybe 10, kind of new, and I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't seen that documentary. But yeah, I'm like you. It's like every road is like this cemetery, that cemetery, and we've had people in the Woodwalkers group. They've gone to them. I didn't go this trip. Next trip, I wouldn't mind going. I'm not really scared of cemeteries. Over 200 cemeteries. Yeah. It's because I used to mow a cemetery when I was in high school for a summer job, so I made peace with it. And now if I went being nosy, that might be a different thing. But I felt like I was helping the people make their graves look nice, and I would talk to them in my mind. Mr. Johnson, I'm just here to, So anyway, but I am scared of them. But there's a lot of. I tell people, I saw the Bigfoot when I was 14, but one of the first house I remember living in was haunted, and it was haunted as all get out. And I knew things were going on, but I was at an age at 2.5 years old, 3 years old. I remember things, and the reason I remember them, I have a really good long-term memory, but I couldn't tell you where my keys are right now, and I had them an hour ago. I know about where they're at, but a lot of us go through that. But when something happens that scares you, it burns, it imprints. And I had a reoccurring dream 2 to 3 times a week, and when it started, I knew exactly how it was going to end. But it was at the beginning of it, it was calming. I was up above myself, watching myself sleep. Now, we're talking about a 2.5-year-old mind. How would you know what a bird's eye view looked like?
Right.
How do you? You're not supposed to know that. I mean, we got drones now. Everybody knows what top of their house might look like. You can imagine it. But, I didn't think about that till later, but I'm looking at myself sleeping, and long story short, I go into my parents' room above them. Then there's a kid behind me. I don't remember if he tugs on me or I just feel the presence, or after so many times, I just knew he was there, what was coming. And, blonde hair, blue eyes, and he waved. He looked like he was about 4 or 5 years old, maybe. And then we'd go through the rest of the house. And all of a sudden, I would be halfway in my room, which was pitch dark. I couldn't see my arm. He had me by the wrist. My dad, for some reason, had a dish rag. I wasn't holding his hand. And my hand would be slipping off that dish rag. He'd be pulling. He said, come play with me. Come play with me. And right as I was starting to slip off, I'd wake up, cold sweat. I would run right to my mom and dad's bedroom, and she would pop my diaper all the way back. You need to get her and go to sleep. I couldn't tell her what was going on. And this happened so many times. But also, there was a room back there that was my playroom. It was an extra room, and it had a bunch of sinks in it. And I found out later it was a dark room. A guy that lived there was a photographer. And, well, I'd be in there and had the creepy feels, as Spencer says. I am not drinking whiskey right now. Maybe later. But
that's probably meant for me, bud.
No. Patrick's talking about me. Yeah. So then I'd get this creepy feeling, and then it would be summertime and the temperature would drop cold enough I could see my breath, and I would run. And once again, Mama, get back in there. And I'm like, I couldn't explain to her what was going on. And then all the other stuff that went on with them, the sounds, the voices, the door rattling, I drive by that house a lot, and I would love to ask the owner. Now, this was 50 years ago. I would love to ask that owner, but I don't want to go in the driveway. Might call him, but I would talk to him out in the street. I'm not going near that house because of I remember how it made me feel, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying. So
Yeah.
I don't want to bring something here.
Exactly. Leave it there.
So, Roger, do you think that things can latch on to you? Because I've said it a million times. I won't do paranormal investigations because I'm scared to death that something's going to latch on and come home with me.
I don't know if believing it will is a thing, but believing that it's possible and not wanting any part of it. So I'm good here. I've only had one thing happen. I was asleep, probably half asleep. Well, my dad passed away a year and a half ago, and I didn't have my alarm didn't go off, and I heard him yell my name and woke me up. And it was, I was supposed to be up, and that was strange. But that could be I was asleep. That could be dreaming. I know that. The other thing was I feel comfortable here, but I do, I do feel like this house is okay. And when I bought this house 18 years ago, I walked through it to make sure I didn't have that creepy feels, because I get that. Some houses, stairwells. There was one house we lived in on Hoboshaw Road. I didn't know. Let's see, how old was I? Maybe 5. I learned to ride the bicycle there. I always hated the staircase and didn't know why. Well, my mom, they were renting a house, and she went to clean the bathroom. There were those yellow. Y'all remember in the 70s, the green tubs with the yellow daisies, and you had for traction. And well, she was clean. Yep. She didn't like those daisies, so she was scraping them up, and there were rust-looking spots under them. Each one of them had a rust-looking spot. She called the owner and was like, "Hey, what's going on with this? The tub?" He said, "Oh, the guy that lived there before y'all fell and hit his head and died in the tub, and I tried to cover up and I'm like, I'm thinking, why did you tell me this?" But to get back to the original, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place.
No, you're good.
So when I was about 12 or 13, I didn't find out anything else about that house. We were gone. We lived other places that had the reoccurring dream in, and had the dark room. Well, it was a Halloween, and I was okay around everybody, but I've always hated ghost stories. I'm good now because I face my fears and all that. It don't scare me anymore. But then I was really scared, and they're like, "Hey, let's tell ghost stories." I'm like, y'all, I'm going in the house. I'm not going to be part of this. And I was walking off, and somebody said, my mom's name's Patsy. She said, hey, Patsy, tell about that haunted house y'all lived in by the water tank. Well, that's pretty specific. And I stopped. What do y'all mean? And she said, where the little boy accidentally hung himself. And that's when I stopped, and I was like, wait a minute. This is new information, So what he had done, he was playing in that dark room, and he had got something around his neck and fell or something, and he accidentally he died in that room. And I said, do y'all know what he looked like? And he wasn't blue-eyed with blonde hair. And oh yeah, you talking about full body goosebumps. And so from early on, I've had weird stuff happen to me. I don't know why. It got so bad at one point, or in a couple of times in my life, I've just prayed like, God, please take this. I don't want this. I don't want any part of this. I can't handle it. So, but I'm not one that goes looking for that stuff, to answer your question, because I'm good now. Where I'm at, I'm good. There's some people's houses I might go to that I might not be good with, but I can come home and sleep at night, and I'm comfortable here. So,
well, see, and this is my thing, okay? Because I was invited to a paranormal investigation at the end of May, about an hour and 45 minutes away in Princeton, West Virginia. Okay, I've never been on a paranormal investigation, but this is what we do for a living. And so you hear these encounters, and you hear it came home with me. Okay, I want to explore this, but I don't want anything to come home with me. And I have really wrestled and prayed, and I'm just like, look, if you don't want me to do this, just let me know, because I don't want to do anything you don't want me to do. Yep. And I don't want to bring anything home. So I'm like still on the fence. I was 100% committed, but now I'm like, the more I think about this, I'm like, is this really the best plan for my life right now? I don't know.
Yeah. Look, I don't know if we have a choice sometimes in what happens. And now with going to a spot just for, entertainment or even studying, I think we're asking, if I don't know anything about it, so I'd be the worst one to do it. I probably would open up some portal, and I don't want to be, if anybody has one of those Ouija boards or whatever, you better not even let me see it. I am not.
Yeah,
I don't want to be around it.
Now, and he has never expressed, and he was a guest on our show, he has never expressed that he or anyone in his team has ever used them or anything like that. But I don't want to go asking for trouble, So, I feel I'm an anxious person. I take anxiety medication. I would be a freaking wreck, to be honest. And then you hear, well, if you're like that, you shouldn't go. And then I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't go.
Well, let me tell you, I say I don't do stuff, but yet I'll go out in the woods at night, and some of the stuff when you're, Bigfoot, and it's maybe paranormal. We talk about the orbs and all that. Now I'll tell you what, I do push the envelope sometimes. We drove from here. I felt drawn to Skinwalker Ranch. I drove from southern Middle Tennessee, me and my wife, to the front gate, Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, damn.
Now, every video we took that whole vacation was crystal clear, 4K, beautiful red rocks, bison, buffalo, whatever. But the 3 miles leading up to Skinwalker Ranch looked like I filmed it with an eye potato. There was interference. It was not clear. We didn't know it at the time. It was showing clear on the phone. And we got to the front gate. There's a bunch of signs, you will be arrested or whatever. And we got the video, and I just looked at the terrain and all, and I was drawn there, but we turned around and left. And hold on, what kind is that?
Benchmark.
Oh, thank you. Hey, y'all.
Hey, yeah.
A benchmark bonded, 100 proof. So
There you
there's
go.
no car for Greg, y'all. So anyway,
Yes, sir.
I was worried about attachments. I was worried about that, but we went to Wyoming and I wanted to go. I was like, hey, if we go this way and to cut up, we can go to Skinwalker Ranch. And after I left there, I don't feel as drawn to it anymore.
Mm.
I don't know why. I get those feelings sometimes, and it just and now what I would do, there's a farm next to it where you can go up on their mesa and camp out and look. You can see the other mesa and look for lights in the sky and stuff like that. Now I believe I would do that, but I don't know. Who knows? I may get there and 30 minutes later we get out of there. So I have like I said, I've been in houses, I've been in places that I just didn't feel comfortable. And that inner voice has saved my tail so much in my life with other things that I listen to it.
Yes, you have to listen to that intuition. It's there for a reason.
Yep, it is. It is. There's a story. This scared me worse probably than anything has so far. But I was dreaming, and I was about 21. I worked at the sheriff's department. I was a dispatcher at the time. And I was dreaming I was in my uncle's bathroom, and I looked up in the mirror with this goofy look on my face, and I had a pink razor. And I woke in my cousin, and then some stuff happened. And so I woke up pretty much immediately. And I'm like, what circumstances would put me in my uncle's house that I never go to in his bathroom with a pink razor? And then within a couple of weeks, I found out my mom and dad, and they all went on a vacation together. And I was, kind of one of the older ones. So we stayed with them to keep an eye on everybody. And lo and behold, we had to be clean shaven. I forgot my razor. Asked my cousin. She's, I got a new one, but you might not want to use it, and laugh, Well, I get all lathered up and look up in the mirror, and that realization that I had seen that definitely before, I was scared. It was a scared, confused look on my face. So I turned to my cousin. I said, listen, very quickly. I said, Rachel and Mikey's about to come out of this bedroom. They're going to be arguing. She's going to say this. He's going to say this. They're going to get to this door up here. They're going to go in. They're going to knock something off the kitchen table. And it's about to happen now. Boom, door opens, and they exactly what I told her. Probably 10 seconds, 12 seconds. And now she's scared of me. I'm scared of me, and she's scared of me. She said, how in the world did you do that? And I said, I drank it. I don't know. And then at that time, I got to thinking, what could it mean? My mom and dad and her mom and dad were in the air in an airplane at the time coming back. And I was so scared. When they finally called and said they're okay, I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you, Lord. Because now I've had deja vu where, you could say something and I'm like, wow, my light might be about to go out, y'all. You could say something and I'm like, I think I've heard that before. Or I could drive by somewhere and, I've seen that driveway and I've seen that house and I've never been here before. Little stuff like that. But that was unmistakable, and it happened quick enough, and I recognized it quick enough. I relayed it to her, and it happened. I don't know if she's ever told the story. I've never even talked to her about it, but I may, next time I see her, ask her if she remembers it. So yeah, that was wild. That's another time, like, oh God, please take this. I don't want it.
Hey, you're like, no, I do not want any kind of clairvoyance. But I've experienced the deja vu too so many times. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
So many times.
So here's the thing. Seen a Bigfoot, seen a UFO, seen orbs, seen ghosts, heard ghosts. One grabbed my toe in Gatlinburg. Now, when I talk to people on my show, I'm the one person that's not going to say, you're full of crap. You know what I mean? Because the stories I'm telling, I realize sometimes in my head, I've said this a bunch. I'm like, Roger, you're batshit crazy. You need to shut up. They're going to come get you. And, but the things happen. I'm comfortable talking about them now, stuff I held in. And it's it's a nice feeling to be able to talk to people who have had some of the same experiences.
Oh yeah.
What is it? That's the thing I don't know. Why do I have these things happen? And my buddy, they could be in the same area. I've seen when the white wolf the other night, Heather looked up and I was talking about the red eye. She said, I didn't see it. There's no way you couldn't have seen it. It was the white was so white, it was not glowing. Y'all, hold on a second. Looks like it's about to go out. Y'all see it flashing? Let me see if this is okay. Am I okay right here?
Oh yeah, you're good.
Can you see me?
Yeah,
Maybe a little more spooky. Yeah, that thing started looked like it was going out. But I often wonder, and the thing is, the reason I talk to people and ask questions, I kind of want to know what I know. I want to know what it is, but I don't want to go too deep into some of it, like the Ouija boards or the seance. I don't want to open up a door, and that's my biggest fear. And I don't know if you're doing something, Tiffany. Y'all are doing something, and I'm sitting there. I don't know what you're doing. I mean, I don't know if it's something really bad or whatever. So,
well, I guarantee you, I'm not. I'm just listening to you talk, drinking my strawberry water. I'm a chicken shit. This is just what I do.
Hey, I'm the first one to admit that. They're like, why didn't you catch those Bigfoot tracks? Well, I was scared, first of all. And if I'd had a whole truckload of casting material, you still wouldn't see one because I was there basically by myself. And, so, no.
Well, it's funny that you brought up the why me? Why did I see this? People say, well, why did I experience orbs and this person didn't, and yada, yada, yada. We talked about that on Discord last night for a while. And it was actually, Troy brought it up and he's like, well, how come I experienced Bigfoot, but other people, they don't? And I was like, I don't know how to answer that because I don't know, I don't know the reason. But I mean, why people experience what they experience and others don't. I told him, I said, you just pray about it and ask the good Lord because he wanted you to see it for a reason. I don't know what the reason is. I mean,
Risto picked up on it. He said, that's crazy, Roger. She didn't see the eye shining. You didn't see the fog. You're right. I didn't. And it right there, I wondered that too. Why she didn't see the eye shining. I didn't see the vapor. So, but that's a good catch. Neil, she just got the alert that we're going to be on today. Neoma, your computer's drunk. Yeah.
That's funny.
But the computer's drunk as he takes a sip of his whiskey.
Yeah. Man, I'm a lightweight. It wouldn't take if I was to drink all of that right there. Somebody might have to help me because I really don't drink a lot, but I don't mind taking a sip. But I told my cousin. Now he's the modern day Daniel Boone. Okay, hey David, I showed him your knife. That's the guy that made my knife for me. So nice. David Blaylock, a good guy. So my cousin, we hunted together, grew up like brothers. We were out in the woods together more with each other than probably anybody else. One day he saw I was doing this, and he's kind of open minded, but he's one of those tough guys. He said he hunts and fishes for food for the he'll hunt for the big antlers and stuff like that. But if his freezer gets low, he'll go stock it. So anyway, he said, well, Roger, he said, I've been out with you and I've been out in the woods probably more than anybody in this county. And I've never seen, heard, or anything like that. And he said, if I had about it, I'd have said something about it. I said, do you remember the night that I lost that 10-pointer that evening and we were tracking it? He said, oh shit, yeah. I thought it was something stepped on a tree, but now I'm thinking it might have broke a tree. And he said, don't you let that get us. whatever that is. He didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. But it was coming into that deer too. We had just found the spot where it had died. So there was something there. He said, yeah, I do remember that. I'm like, well, what was it? There were no cows on the place. There were no humans around. And he said, I don't know. I always thought it was a big mountain lion. Well, I said, well, it could have been. I said, but I'm going to tell you what I've learned too. The reason you probably haven't seen one. I said, what would happen if you saw one right now? He said, I'd shoot the shit out of it. I said, that's exactly why you ain't seen one. He said, what do you mean? I'm like, I feel like they know better. From the people I've talked to and some of the things that's happened to me, I truly believe that. So,
I think they know what guns are.
I do. Well, my son, when we had the boulders being tossed and the trees and the logs crashed against other trees and the huff growl and the howls over this way, and we're 20 minutes into this and I've got it on audio. I'm scared. And I said, Peyton, clear your mind. I don't know why. I said, clear your mind. Well, when I said that, we got all this going on around us. And I didn't say put your gun down. I said, clear your mind. And he set his AR down next to the tree. And I said, hey, we're here. We're curious. We're leaving gifts. We don't want to hurt anybody. We don't want to get hurt either. This is all we're doing. We're not. And everything was different. And there was one more tree snap. No, sapling. And that was it. We didn't hear anything else. And I said, Peyton, what are you feeling right now? He said, when you said that, the whole feel of the woods changed. I said, it did, didn't it? And so I've got to believe that because, and like I said, you can see it on the film. I didn't tell him to put his gun down, but he said he had a feeling. He knew what I was about to do without me saying. I just said, clear your mind. And he automatically sets that gun down. And I'm like, wow, that was pretty impressive because that was almost like he knew what I was about to do. We've never discussed that before. So there was a lot of stuff going on that day. But, back to the ghosts and stuff, there's so much weird things. I feel like somehow, and I'll probably never figure it out, that all of these subjects are tied together somehow.
Yeah.
The energies, I think energy is a big part of this. And maybe we get in a spot where, now this is going to sound crazy to some people, I believe there might be travel ways, and I'm not talking about ridges.
Right.
There might be travel ways where they say people say the veil is thin or whatever. But why would I see this or hear this and then see an orb over here on this side of the field and then hear a woman laugh 2 separate times in the daylight where there's nobody around? Hear the metal. So I think it's areas. I've been to the place where there's vortexes, like out in, is it Sedona, Arizona? I think it was. I didn't have any idea what that place was, but I felt different out there. And then I get back, and 15 years later, they start talking about vortices and all this stuff on, ancient aliens and all that. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, I've been there. Well, that might explain, the reason I felt different.
Yeah, I mean, a few days ago, we had Justin from Cryptids of the Corn on, and he and I talked for 30 minutes after the show. And his opinion is your opinion. They're all connected, and it's all energy. Somehow, in some way, they are all connected into everything.
The UFO and the big orb I saw here in Chapel Hill, they were affected, I believe this, by magnetic energy. Mm-hmm. I'm not a scientist, and they may laugh at me, but from what I saw, that UFO was using the magnetic push and pull to travel. And it was glowing orange, and you could see the outline. And when it left, just like that, in a split second and gone in a clear night sky, there couldn't have been anything on there like us that would have survived those G-forces. So I asked a guy, last year, we were interviewing him on the show I was helping co-host. And it took me all these years. And, if you shoot a gun or whatever, about the breaking the sound barrier and the crack, that you hear, sonic boom, so to speak. It hit me while talking to him. I'm like, wait a minute, why did I not hear a sonic boom? Because that thing was in the lower atmosphere and it left so fast. I should have heard a sonic boom. He said, well, if you've ever seen the Tic Tac video, there's a cold protective layer around it. And he said, we think they might be manipulating the atmosphere so that it wouldn't block. Wait a minute. I've seen that somewhere else at the Huntsville Space and Rocket Center when I was young, when we didn't even know there was such thing as the Blackbird that could go 2,000 miles an hour from Los Angeles to New York or whatever. The day we found out about it, they retired it. Well, there was one down there, and everybody else is looking at this amazing plane. And I go, there's a rod on the end of it. So I'm curious. I'm like, what in the world? Why is that there? There was a plaque. It said, this rod, it shoots energy out, and because 2,000 miles an hour would burn up a normal aircraft, it shoots this energy out, and it splits the atmosphere. So this plane can basically travel without any drag. And I'm like, what in the world? I'm like, hey, y'all read this. Well, nobody really, I'm like, splitting the atmosphere? This whole plane here is impressive, but it's nothing without this little rod here with that energy. So that burned, I didn't look into it anymore. I mean, they're stating that's what they did. It's right there. It's nothing to hide. And people, I'm like, I'm trying to show the people around and nobody cared.
Oh, and that's what gets frustrating, right? Because we are so enthralled. We are so enthralled with this topic, and we are so in it to win it. Like, I feel you. So when we come at somebody to have this conversation and to help, not even force our opinions on them, just to have a conversation, and they just blow it off, and then we're like really deflated. So
I know.
And
it's not like, and Tiffany, it's not like I made it up. It's right here in this plaque. It's they're telling you.
Right.
And to me, that's amazing. So anyway, I don't know, but it just, stuff keeps happening. I've had people that say, "Oh, you're lucky." I'm like, I don't know how lucky I am. I mean, I'm not asking for a lot of this, but some of it I am. I'm going out like my father-in-law. Well, we've never seen or heard anything out there. I said, well, have you been out there? You've had this property for over 30 years. Have you ever been out there after midnight? No. Okay. So come out there with us, But and with the ghost stuff, y'all, one of the most amazing things that happened to me, there's two things in two hotels, the Arlington and Hot Springs, Arkansas. But in Gatlinburg, I know all y'all know where that's at. Mm-hmm. And Wayne, you know where Reagan Inn Resorts is, right beside the convention center there. If you go to room 110, that's where I was staying. My daughter was in there. I was working at night, so when I woke up at 3:00 on the day we were coming back, I was wide awake. I was planning our trip back. I didn't want to get up because I was wanting her to get a little more sleep. She was over next. I was next to the door. She was in the one next to the balcony or whatever. And I'm sitting there. I'm laying on my back, I'm under the cover. Something grabbed with a thumb and this finger grabbed the big toe on my left foot and squeezed and snatched my foot probably over that far.
Damn.
And it spread, my leg came, and of course I come up ready to fight because here somebody done come in here, broke in on us, and it's go time, right? It was scary. Well, there's no doubt in my mind that it was physical pressure, and I felt the fingers and the thumb. I felt the finger and the thumb. Light comes on, nothing. Doors locked. Both doors are locked. Nothing. No. And my daughter by that time was like, "What are we doing, Daddy?" I said, "We're leaving early, Keely." That's what we're doing. We're out of here. And the thing is, okay, that's weird enough. But the next part is what really makes it super weird. I'm under the cover. This thing grabs me and my foot slides under the cover. The cover doesn't go with it. It doesn't pull the cover. It pulls my foot from out. I don't know. That's the weirdest part out of that weird, situation. But you're driving down the road and you're thinking about it and you're like, what in the world? I don't know why it happened.
Yeah.
But it happened. And if y'all want to It's 110, room 110, Reagan Inn Resorts, Gatlinburg. If y'all brave enough, and if it happens to you, let me know.
No, we are cabining. We are getting a cabin in July. We will not be going to room 110. Thank you. Thank you. It can stay there with its toe grabber all at once.
The toe grabber. Yep. I mean,
All right. Roger, real quick, tell everybody where they can find you, bud.
Squatchin Holler right here. It's YouTube. I do TikTok and Facebook and stuff, but my main things where we do the interviews and stuff is Squatchin Holler. You can look it up at capital R Dodger 1971 is the easiest way. But yeah, y'all, and I tell people all the time, we explore these subjects. We do lives. Come over if you don't like it, unsub. And no hard feelings, because I mean we don't edit things. I'll do videos and I bring people along that can't get out, and that's the way I feel that we're doing. But like tomorrow, I try to do a little different. I'm gonna have Mike Smith on tomorrow night. If y'all watch Small Town Monsters, the LBL that they just did, the doc on that, he was one of the first guys in there that they interviewed. He commented on one of my talking about the white wolf, and he said he'd seen similar. He's seen Bigfoot. He fishes there all the time. His Facebook is full of him being outdoors. That's going to be a fun one tomorrow night at 7 our time. So, yeah, just like I said, it's no hard feelings. I try to watch everybody's shows. I can't, but I will try to come in and say, hey, if I've got 5 minutes or whatever, and I enjoy what everybody does and what y'all do, and I think it's important, really. Give people voices. Let them get it off their chest or off their backs or whatever.
Well, and some people, they don't feel comfortable talking about it with anybody. They'll reach out to us or to Brian or to you guys and be like, I've never told anybody this, but I have to tell somebody. It's eating me. I've got to tell somebody.
And how many times has somebody pulled you to the side, or you got an email, or like, hey, I need to tell you something, but you can't use my name. You can't tell where I'm from. And they're not getting anything out of it except for that unloading, because they hear Tiffany, they hear your stories, Wayne, they know they get to know you and they trust you. So they'll unload it on you. It's kind of like being a bartender. We had a store for 28 years and I was behind the counter, and it was kind of the bartender effect. I know things about people. I'm like poking my mind's eye out. Like, why are you telling me this? And they get comfortable with you. It's all about trust. All of this. Y'all trusted me to come on tonight and not say something too dumb. And then I trusted you guys not to ambush me, right? And that happens in some places. So it's all about trust, all this. When you're telling the truth and you're getting to the truth, that's what it's about, I think.
You're absolutely right. 100% you are right.
And we're glad you came back for your part 2.
Oh, yeah. I like being here. Now I'm getting loosened up. I can't. Here's what happens, y'all. When I talk here or on my show, I coming from our store and people coming from all over, I try to slow down and speak clearly as I can. But this right here make the country come back out of me. So if I run like 8 words together and you don't really know what I said, just ask Wayne. He'll know.
That's right. All right, buddy. You're welcome back anytime that you want, man. We've had such an awesome time with you. Anytime you want to come back, you're welcome.
Thank you. And I might, we might can have y'all on sometime if that's okay.
For sure.
And Mr. Tiffany, I forgot to say hi. I'm so sorry.
But all right, buddy. We'll be in touch, set it up, and Tiffany and I will love to come on and chat with you. But until then, buddy, we appreciate it, and you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Oh, I'm sure I will. I got the 3 fingers here.
You get pretty warmed up with that. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, buddy.
I start sweating, have my hat on.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
I love him. He is just amazing. He's just funny.
I'm telling you, man. When he's on, it's easy. Because
yes.
I don't have to do a whole lot. He's gonna take over and just run the show, and I am okay with that.
Yep. I was trying like feverishly. I would put something up and the chat would scroll like 5 comments, and then I'd end up putting something that totally, and I was like, crap.
Speaking of the chat, how awesome were you guys tonight? Thank you so
Yes.
very much.
It has
You
been
guys were great.
amazing.
You were great. Always respectful of our guests. I love you guys. I thank you so very much for everything that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the new subscribers, we thank you so much for the new subscribers. And Diane with your $4.99 super chat. And then, of course, Mr. Tiffany with his $49.99 super chat. And I think he said my casserole was good. I had never made that before. Let's see what he said. I have to do this. Y'all work so hard on and off the air. Phenomenal casserole. So that's a winner chicken dinner. So
nice. Very
yeah,
cool.
we'll add that to the rotation. But thank y'all so much. I mean, y'all are always phenomenal. Always.
Yeah. Great job tonight, guys. All the comments, questions, everything was great. I thank you so very much for all
And I don't
of the continued
I don't want to
support.
forget Ristel. Yeah, Ristel gave his $2 from Zorth.
Thank you, Zorth.
And you guys will be happy to know that Wayner here has him a new chair in his studio. So I was celebrating before we came on. I was like, yay.
My ass is comfortable. Very much so right now, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, because look, it's an hour and 21 minutes in and you're not standing up. So
that's right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get out of here, ma'am. Say your goodbyes.
Thank you guys again for coming in and showing your support and showing your love for Roger and all the subscribers and super chats, and you're phenomenal. Thank you so much.
Yes, you are. Thank you guys very, very much for everything that you do, all the continued support. Until we see you guys again, y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.